I want to talk about what happens when the chute gets loud. Not just busy, not just hectic. I mean, when it gets really loud. When everyone's got an opinion, when tensions are thick and you wake up and you feel the weight of the world before your feet even hit the ground. And let me just say this right up front. I see it and I feel it too. The last few days have been heavy. With the protests, the shootings, the fear, the anger, the exhaustion of just watching this same tragedy happen and play out again and again. And then just wondering, is it ever going to stop? And if you're feeling it, if you're struggling to find your focus, and if you walked into work today carrying more than just your tool bag, that's valid. You're human. You're not just a machine. You can't just flip a switch and pretend the world isn't hurting while you're trying to do your job. While you're trying to lead your team or just show up for the people who are counting on you. Leadership doesn't mean you got to stop being human. It means you lead while being human. But here's where it gets even harder, especially for those of us who are outliers. When you're already the only woman in the shop, the only LGBTQ tech on the crew, and the only person of color in the room, this doesn't just hit. It hits different. And you just don't hear it in the news. You feel it in the space around you, in the conversations that stop the moment you walk into the room, and the way the energy changes, in the weight of wondering if the people you work with see the world and see you the same way you do. And on top of that, you're supposed to clock in, stay focused, and lead like there's absolutely nothing wrong. That's a heavy load. And let me just say what most leadership advice won't tell you. That it's okay to feel this. It's okay to be affected. Your feelings are valid. But here's the truth. This is the truth that I've learned both on the shop floor and in the arena. The bull doesn't care. And the work doesn't either. The job still needs to be done. The deadline's still there. The truck still needs to be fixed. That crew needs attention. And that system is counting on you. It doesn't pause because the world is heavy. Not because your feelings don't matter, because they do. But because the world still needs what you do. And that puts us in a really difficult spot, doesn't it? How do you show up when your heart is heavy? How do you get your seat and stay center when the chute is so crowded with fear and anger, grief and noise, and that you can barely even think for yourself? You have to clear the chute. Not by ignoring what's happening, and not by pretending you're fine when everything's not, but by getting ruthlessly clear about what yours is to carry into this arena today. What you need to do is you need to leave it all at the gates so you can actually ride. Now, hi everybody, I'm Shar. And the weight of the world is pretty heavy right now, and I needed to stop and talk to you, and that's why we're not driving again, but there's a lot of stuff going on. And those of us that are leading, those are our outliers, need that moment. So, in the arena, before the gate even opens, you have to clear your mind. You have to clear the chute. The chute is where everything happens before you ride. It's crowded and it's loud. There's other riders around. There's the stock contractor, the puller, the clowns, the audience, and the announcer. There's just a lot of noise and movement, and chaos is everywhere. And if you try to get your center while all that's going on around you, you're going to get thrown before the bully leaves the gate. So what do you have to do? You have to clear it. You have to get everyone who doesn't need to be there out of your space and find the quiet. And you got to quiet that noise and find your focus. And you got to focus on what's directly in front of you. The rope, the bull, your hands, your breath. Everything else is a distraction. It's every opinion, every piece of drama that doesn't serve you. You need to focus on that ride, and that needs to stay outside the chute. And the same thing's true when you're trying to lead a team in the middle of all this chaos. You can't control what's happening outside the chute. You can't control other people's anger, fear, opinions, or agendas. But you can control whether you let that noise ride with you. Now, here is what I call your pre-ride question. Ask yourself, what's actually mine to carry today? Not what's trending, not what everybody's worked up about, and not what you're scared what might happen next week. What's yours? Your skills, your responsibility, your integrity, and the one thing that you have to get done right today. Everything else, leave it outside the gate. Now, I'm not saying to ignore the world, and I'm not telling you to just focus on work and everything else will be fine. What I am saying, as an outlier, you can't afford to ride distracted. Now, let me be forward with you. When you're already navigating being the only one, you don't have the luxury of showing up unfocused, emotionally scattered, or off your game. The standard's already higher for you, and that's not fair, but it's real. People are watching. Now, there's some of them that are rooting for you to slip. Some of them are actually your fans. And some just don't realize that they're holding you and judging you to a different standard than everybody else. So, when a world gets loud and chaotic and you walk into work carrying all of it, you have to be more intentional than everybody else about what deserves the space in your head. Because unlike the people who just blend in, you don't get to have an off day and disappear into the background. Your off day is noticed, your distractions are noticed, and your frustration is definitely noticed. And again, it's not fair, but it's the arena we're in. So you have to be ruthless about protecting your focus. The chute gets loud. Your job is to get quiet. So this is what it looks like practically. Before you walk into work, before you open your laptop, or before you step into the meeting, and before you pick up that wrench, take 8 seconds. Not 8 minutes, just 8 seconds. And here's what you do. 1, just stop. Physically stop what you're doing. Close your eyes or find a point of focus. The second thing is to breathe. Deep breaths in, deep breath out. And the last one, ask yourself this one question. What is the one thing I can control today? That's it. What can you control today? Not what you're worried about, not what you're angry about, not what you wish was different. What do you control? Maybe that's finishing that repair correctly. Maybe it's leading your team with some good clarity, or responding to that difficult email with professionalism. It just might be just getting through your day without losing control. Whatever it is, that's your ride. Everything else is noise. And when the noise tries to creep back in, and it will, you come back to that one thing. What can I control right now? That's how you clear the chute. That's how you get your seat. And that's how you lead through all the chaos. Now, here's another thing I want you to remember. When you show up and do your job well, even when the world seems like it's completely falling apart, you're not just being professional. You're proving something so much bigger. You're proving that outliers don't break when things get hard. You're proving that women, LGBTQ plus folks, and people of color, we don't just survive the trades. We lead in the trades. You're proving that chaos outside doesn't decide whether you belong in this arena. And listen, some days that's a lot to carry. Just a lot. Some days you're tired of just trying and having to prove it all the time. I get that. Believe me, I totally understand that. But here's what I also know. The world doesn't stop needing what you do. The trucks still need to get fixed. The systems still need to run. And things still need to get done. And more importantly, the people who are watching you, that's the younger outliers and those up and coming behind you. Those are the ones that are wondering if they can make it in this industry. And they need you to make that ride. Not because you're perfect, not because you're unbreakable, but because you know how to clear that chute and get in and ride anyways. Look, I'm not going to sit here and just tell you just push through or leave your emotions at the door or any of that BS that we've all heard. That's not real. And it's definitely not fair. What I'm going to tell you is this. You have to find a way to carry what's real without letting it paralyze you. Because here's what I know about outliers. And this is what I know about you. You've been navigating impossible situations your whole career. You've been showing up in rooms where you weren't expected. You've been proving yourself when you shouldn't have to. You've been leading the world when the world told you didn't belong in the arena. And you're still here. That's not luck. That's grit, that's heart, that's try. So when the chute gets loud, when the world feels heavy and chaotic and overwhelming, don't let it convince you that you can't ride. Clear that noise. Find the one thing and then take your 8 seconds. Remember why you're in the arena in the first place. Not because it's easy and definitely not because it's the World's Fair, but because you matter too much to let the chaos buck you off. I see your pain. It's real. But we still have a job to do. Not because your feelings don't matter. And again, and I emphasize this, but because you matter too much to let the chaos buck you off. So clear the chute, give the nod, and let's get to work. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.